Our first guest is a former co-host of Tuesday Funk and a graduate of the New School MFA in Creative Writing program. Her writing has appeared in Arch City Chronicle, Parent to Parent, Black Market Lit, and Best of Ohio Short Stories, both Volume 1 and 2. And I believe she has copies of...
Volume 1.
Just Volume 1 tonight, but she has copies if you want one. She lives in Chicago's Ravenswood neighborhood with her husband, Andrew Witt, who's right there. He is a bassist for the hard rock doom pop fish metal band Sea Lords. And also their two sons, a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old. She once listed Ellen Ripley from the Alien movies as a person she would like to meet. Please welcome and please meet, back at Tuesday Funk, Sara Ross Witt. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew and Eden. Thank you so much. And Huffley for hosting us. And for all you guys for coming out, my friends, my husband. So this is our first night out since the new baby was born. So I really want to shout out to my in-laws. Thank you so much for watching the kids tonight. Thank you. So tonight I'm going to be reading the first little excerpt from a young adult novel in progress. I'm not going to say much about it. I'm just going to get into it. The only thing I will say is that it's in diary form, so it's like in her diary. And I read my own diaries to become inspired for this. And it's super embarrassing. So here we go. 7 days. Oh, sorry. I should tell you what it's called. Right now it's just tentatively titled Book of Shadows. 7 days until Mabon. That's autumn equinox, in case you didn't know. 2 weeks into the school year. Mom is in someone else's mood again. A mom should never be more than one person at one time because parents are just awful on their own. Dad was taking the younger brothers to soccer practice when he told me to get some fresh air, so I opened a window. He went all frowny and said he meant I should go outside. I can't. I'm waiting on a phone call from my bestie Nora. Since the parents won't let me have a cell phone, I'm stuck inside waiting. I tell him that if I had a cell phone, I could wait outside for Nora's call. He tells me I shouldn't wait at all. Yeah, right. Thora, my older sister, left to cheerleading practice. She's the head cheerleader, gag, and Aradia to Sorcerers and Secrets Junior League. She said, "It's an emergency, Aggie. Everything will fall apart if I don't go." She's the secretary of the league and so basic. The league planned the upcoming fall dance. They're calling it It's a Kind of Magic. Could that be any more obvious and dumb? I said so to Aradia, and she slapped my arm. Sisterly love. Not. I hate her. Dad's binding on the house prevents us from using magic against each other, but we make up for it with physical violence. Now I'm all alone. They're all gone, except Mom, who is inhabiting some other person's mood, locked inside her office. And they didn't even say anything about it. Typical. They probably don't even remember. They forget me a lot. I'm the middleist. I'm the middle of 5 sisters and brothers. Nothing ever good comes from being in the middle. Middle school, the middle seat in the car, the Middle Ages, alone in the middle of the ocean. That's a reoccurring nightmare I have. The other one is shaving my legs with Post-it notes, and no hair comes off with Post-it notes. You know those awkward family photo sites? Well, that's us. On picture day, Mom and Dad dress in matching colors. Then Thor and Aradia do the twin thing and wear the same outfits. And Mom makes my little brothers, who are also twins, wear matching outfits too. I am literally the only one without a match. I guess I could try, but I would never match them, even if I wore the same outfit or color. Mom's people come from Norway, escaping the witch trials, and her looks, blonde, pale, slender, and tall, dominated all the family genes, except mine. I don't look like Dad either. He's tall and covered with wiry red hair. I'm more like Granny's people, short, dark, random chin hairs. I carry tweezers at all times like a weapon. It's not simply that I'm a middle child. It's that I'm the middle child in a powerful witch family. I'm a Lockhart and a Fair. I'm Agatha Jane Lockhart Fair. And in 7 days, it's Mabon. Also my birthday. My most terrifying birthday. It's a big deal when witches turn 16. They're initiated into their power, and the newly powered witch is welcomed by the community. Next Saturday is my initiation at the Lake Historic Community Center, and just about the entire town is invited. By your 16th birthday, a witch should have some idea about her powers. Thora knew she was a necromancer at age 13 when she summoned old Sally Leibich to her sleep. Aradia knew she was a diviner by the time she was 10, of course. Our history teacher, Mr. Kalo, is always reminding us that a witch isn't created. She or he is born. So by 16, a witch knows what her magic will be, and the birthday is just officially sharing it with the world. The only problem is, I have no power. I'm not a witch. I haven't divined anything. I haven't summoned anyone. I can't cast a single spell. I have 0 cooking magic. I have no clairsentience or ability to communicate with animals. My family hasn't even asked me about my powers. They forget or don't care, or both. And I haven't told anyone about my lack of powers either. How can I? I'm a mundane in a family of super powerful witches. Grandpa James is the archmage for the city council. Granny's mythic. Dad's the town's cottage witch. And Mom is one of the most powerful healers in Ohio. And my family forgot that today, Granny is taking me hat shopping, because every witch wears a hat at initiation. I have this feeling everyone knows I'm not a witch, but no one will say it. Like that time Mary Tinnell had an unused maxi pad stuck to her butt all morning, and no one said anything about it because it was too embarrassing and too funny. Mary later told us that she had put it on her bed as she got ready for school and forgot about it. Nora and I were like, how do you forget your period? Mary, goddess lover, attracts randomness. She has to wear hats all the time because birds have tried to nest in her hair. Though she does have a head for hats. Or Edgar Castle. He has no powers. We all know it, and we don't talk about it. Not that Eddie and I are on speaking terms anyway. He's on my dead to me list. See, Eddie and I were besties since the crib. There is seriously a picture of 6-month-old me on a pink and blue blanket sitting next to 1-month-old Eddie. His mom, Julia, is something of a family project. She was a freshman in high school when she got pregnant with Eddie and abandoned by bad boy baby daddy Terry Castle. Terry still has a dark reputation in Vermilion. Because of this, people have been kind of awful to them. So Granny put Julia and Eddie up in the old house by the Fay Village, and we are very protective of them. Eddie was always around, like a brother. In fact, I used to think he was my twin, just like Thora and Aradia had each other. Of course he was annoying and dirty and dumb sometimes. He was a boy. We became inseparable, though, in elementary school when it became clear that we were both considered unwanted outsiders, especially when Lexi Littleflower and her gang of uber-popular coven seekers targeted us. Nora came to school in 5th grade and joined our little gang, and she just fit. 3 is a very good number in the witching world. Remember when I said that middle school was awful? It was awful. I had a poodle perm, Eddie had bottle-thick glasses, Nora had braces. We all smelled like unwashed farts despite several baths, layers of deodorant, perfume, stuff boys spray on themselves, because hormones. And I was a walking awkward period accident. Figuring out pads and tampons was like deciphering hieroglyphics. And we were attracted to other people because, again, hormones, so everything felt super important, like our 8th grade dance. I had tamed my perm into something similar in texture and look to tree bark, but it felt rockin', and I convinced Dad to let me wear a miniskirt with an oversized sweatshirt that read witchy and glitter. So, I was feeling it. I spent the whole night, though, cuddling the wall. Nora, the fearless fae, slow danced with Sam Watson and had her first kiss. They both had elaborate braces, and she described it as more of a bump than a kiss. Meanwhile, I saw Eddie holding hands with Lucy, I Want to Wear Your Magic Wagner. She's the only person in the entire world who thinks that being near me means witchcraft will rub off into her, and that's just not the way magic works. Trust me, I know. There's a lot of scholarship to magic, but you're either a witch or you're not. She is in the latter category. And there she was slobbering all over my best friend, Eddie. I felt stabby and punchy. I only felt jealous because I hadn't even had my first kiss yet. Eddie and Nora were kissing other people, while the closest I had to a kiss was being licked by my twin 3-year-old brothers pretending to be cats. Also, like I said, we were protective of Eddie. Lucy was only using him to get closer to me, right? I didn't force Eddie to break it off with Lucy. I simply pointed out the facts. Lucy was a 7th grader. She was using him to get closer to me, and in an attempt to lighten her hair, she turned it orange. I was really upset about her orange hair that night, and when I think about it now, I cringe. But that was 2 years ago, and I've matured a lot since then. After providing Eddie with the facts, I stomped away from the dance. By the end of middle school, my friend count was 2, and my nemesis, or is it nemesi, count was also 2, Lexi Littleflower and Lucy Wagner. Good work, Agatha. When I'm dead, they will find this book of shadows. It will, 1, make me super embarrassed, even in my ghost form. 2, make my family very sad for abandoning me. 3, prove that I'm not a witch, as I'm wasting a perfectly good, gold-leafed, hand-bound book of shadows on ramblings. 4, not contain a single spell, potion, or ritual. After Eddie broke up with Lucy, to be honest, totally for me, probably, our threesome returned to normal. Hanging out at the beach or in the woods behind his house, watching horror movies through the summer, biking to Papa Joe's for pizza subs. We were always together. And when we weren't together, we left letters for each other at our houses, or by our special tree, the one that looks like a hand reaching out of the ground and you can sit in it, or at the dairy dock. When we started as freshmen at Vermilion High School, we left letters in each other's lockers. Listen, if you're a child of an empath, you feel me. Letter writing instead of email because mom can't have too much technology in the house. Cell phones are absolutely off limits, and I get all my internets from the library. FML. It was great, but high school was like all new boys. Where did they come from? I created a crush list day one. It included swim team sophomores Ryan Cleary and Jake Delaveau, and 2 guys from the doom band Dragon's Blood, bassist Desi Hibbins and guitarist Sebi Lee. Sebi is off limits though because he dates Lexi. I think Eddie knew about my crushes all of freshman year, even though we never talked about it. Despite our lifelong friendship, I still don't know how to talk about boys. I still don't know how to talk to boys or about boys. I needed my first kiss. Nora and I made a plan for the end of the year pool party. We gave it a secret code, even secret from Eddie. KOD, kiss or die. All of my crushes, except Sebi, would be there. Nora and I would wear the hottest clothes we could find and do something other than stand awkwardly alone in the shallow end. KOD did not go as planned. I sat alone in the shallow end, trying to hide my swimsuit because, let's be real, it was too revealing. The sides were cut out and I wasn't feeling my stomach. I'm sure menstruation was imminent. My period is always lurking about. Suddenly, the stars aligned and Jake Delaveau swam up to me. Side note, at this point, I still believed I would become a witch. I do want to be a witch. There is magic in every moment, and I want to be a part of that. He smiled and splashed me, which at the time seemed like when parents tell you that boys pull your hair because they like you, so I splashed him back. I couldn't believe it. I was goofy flirting with a boy from my crush list. I was absorbed in that moment, and I couldn't wait for it to end so I could breathe again. It's hard to describe how good he looked. His dark, spiky hair seemed to hold onto the water. His lips were full and tipped up in the corner, so he always looked like a Cheshire cat. And Nora and Eddie were around somewhere, but I couldn't even bother to look away from Jack's heavy-lidded aquamarine eyes. I asked him if he were part water sprite. He only shrugged. Then he swam closer and kissed me. Mouths weren't congruent. It was slippery and disappointing. When our lips parted, I said, "My mom's calling me," and I got out of the pool. Let me repeat that. I said my mom was calling for me. She wasn't even in town that night. I found Eddie and asked him to walk me home. I was so uncomfortable. "Jake just kissed me," I said as we arrived at my house. I just wasn't expecting it. He didn't say a word to me. Maybe I needed some warning? I asked Eddie about his first kiss with Lucy. I could see the waning crescent moon behind him as he stood on my front porch. He said, "It was like magic. I was really happy, and there were colors in the kiss. I could feel colors." I explained how all the elements of romance had been there. The KOD plan, the pool, the boys, but nothing felt right or romantic. Then I said, "That's going to be my first kiss memory. I'll record it in my book of shadows and cringe every time I read it." He said it didn't have to be my first kiss memory. I could have a do-over, he said. He asked if he could kiss me. What? Eddie just kicked my heart into my brain. I couldn't think with all the pounding. Still, I made a mental list of things Eddie had done for me. He always played the page as my queen in our childhood adventure and never asked to be king. He always defended me when Lexi instructed her flock to throw shade at me. And he broke up with Lucy. I made a second list of all the things Eddie has never done. He's never pulled my hair. He's never tried to kiss me. And he's never treated me like a girl. I was his friend. When it was time to run, we ran. When it was time to jump, we jumped. When it was time to kiss, "Yes," I said, "kiss me." With the crescent moon behind him and fireflies twinkling around us, and the sound of the lake at night, and in the distance the fae drumming in the forest, Eddie leaned in and put his lips on mine. All of the elements of romance were there, and it felt right. The whole time I was thinking, Eddie has his tongue as my mouth. This is great. It was magic. I could feel the colors. Then Eddie stopped kissing me. I expected to open my eyes and see him dreamily staring at me. That's how I looked at him when I finally opened my eyes. Except Eddie was running away. Like full on fast. I need to get away as quickly as possible running. And the next day he went to computer camp in Arizona for the entire summer. And since coming home and starting school, he's avoided Nora and me. Eddie equals dead to me.